Parikia here in Paros. I'm doing a full walking tour. Make sure you are subscribed. So we are going over Parikia here on the island of Paros in Greece. Parikia is the capital of the island, and it's also known as Chora. A lot of people can refer to that here on the island, and it is the main hub where you would take in the ferry from Athens and other islands. And it's one of my favorite towns on the island of Paros here in Greece for a number of reasons. And my favorite view is this one right here with the church. And really everywhere you go in Parikia, there is always some type of just beautiful view, but it's just very, very busy, but in a good way. And you never feel overwhelmed or overcrowded, but you just really get a nice sense of community when you're in this town. I definitely absolutely love this town. I didn't stay here the last time I was here. I stayed in Aliki. There is a video for that if you guys want to check out. It's a lot smaller, but I rented a car and I made my way here a few times. And another thing I wanted to mention before we get really too deep into the video, I started doing cash giveaways for all of my YouTube subscribers. So make sure that you subscribe down below so you can qualify for the cash giveaways, and also stay until the end of the video, as that is where I will be giving the instructions on how you can participate in the cash giveaways. So make sure you stay all the way until the end to get those instructions. So the one thing that I really loved about Parikia is that it is surprising. So when I first discovered Paros Island, this was about, I want to say now 6 years ago. And I absolutely fell in love with the island then. And every time I've come back to Greece, I always come back to visit Paros, even if it's just for a couple of days. And when I first came to Parikia, and you will kind of see the same thing, once you get here, especially if you're on the ferry, all you kind of see is this main area that, I'm showing you right now where the ferry is, everything that's kind of in the front line and the strip. And then you kind of hook a turn into where there is what we call in Greek a platia, like a square. And if you just keep on kind of going straight from there, then you realize that you have fallen on to some hidden gems here in the town. And it was just absolutely enamoring for me, and it has the traditional Kyklades, old town alleyways, the whitewashed buildings, and the old stone floors, which you will see just in a moment what I am talking about. If you've been to any other, Kyklades islands, either, Naxos or Santorini, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was just really nice going through the town, and then while I was walking around, realizing that if you don't walk around, you kind of miss these gems that are here throughout all of the Greek islands. And that's why my favorite thing to do when I go anywhere is literally walk around. Of course, I rent a car, and that's to explore further and to be able to get to all of these small towns. But I encourage you, I implore you, and this is why I do these walking tours everywhere I go, because that is the only way you are really going to be able to find all of these beautiful, beautiful hidden gems all throughout Greece. As much as you can Google stuff, there is no other way to just really experience the life, the people, the surrounding area. Look how beautiful that is. Just everything is just so gorgeous. And if you don't go out and walk around and explore, then you're really going to miss all of this, because Google will not, and trust me, because I have tried, I have become very reliant on Google, as a lot of us have, especially throughout Greece. I am Greek, and yes, I've been traveling throughout Greece for many, many years, but that doesn't mean that I still have not felt like I've become reliant on Google. So I'll Google something, and it's like, okay, I'm not really getting the answer I want, and I'll just end up going to the place of, where I was looking at and what I wanted to find out, and I will just find it out on my own. And in doing so, I discover so much more beauty and interesting things from the places that I go and visit. So definitely, I implore you to do that as well. But until you are able to get here, we are going to be going through this beautiful town together on this walking tour of Parikia here on Paros Island. Now, just a few other little tips, I guess I would say, about Parikia and how you would get to Paros. So I took the ferry to get here from Athens, and that was about, I would say, it was like a 2.5 to 3.5 hour ferry ride. We did have to make a stop. That's why I can't really give you like an exact time, because some ferries will make a stop on the way and some ferries won't. So, but it's around that time, and you would take the ferry from Piraeus, Athens. Piraeus is the port in Athens. And there's so many, places you can book those tickets online, ferry hopper, ferry scanner. So definitely, don't feel like you can't kind of get all that stuff together for yourself. It's really super easy to find out. All of these websites translate into English. So it's definitely, in my opinion, pretty easy for you guys to figure out and get to Paros. Now, the second way is you can come via airport or airplane. So they do have an airport, and they have flights directly from Athens. You can get to Paros even from the UK. There is a few airlines that will fly into Paros internationally. So definitely check out if your area does fly to Paros. If not, what you would do is you would just fly directly into Athens, and then take, Aegean Airlines is a perfectly good airline to take. If you don't know which airline, would go to Paros, that's definitely always a standard one, as it is a Greek airline. So you know that they will always get you to any of the Greek islands that you want to get to. So that is definitely another way to get to Paros outside of taking the ferry. And then once you get into the ferry, depending where you are staying, they do have taxis right outside of the ferry port, so you can definitely take a taxi from the ferry. Just please keep in mind that they are going to be higher priced. I ended up taking a taxi just because my rental car wasn't as near to the port as I thought it was. I had miscalculated, which is totally fine. It wasn't very far at all, though, so I was able to take a cab. I didn't think the prices were that crazy, but I did feel like it was still pretty expensive for the distance that I was going, because again, it was not that far from where the ferry was. And the only reason why I even felt like I wanted to take a cab to my car rental was because I do travel with my 7-pound Yorkie poo, and I had my luggages, I had her. It was just easier for me than trying to walk around the entire town to the other side of the town with all of my belongings. But just keep that in mind. If not, definitely try to get a rental car. A lot of times people get a little bit, hesitant about thinking about renting a car because they think it's going to be so expensive. But a lot of the times, what you're going to end up paying for cabs, you can end up renting a car and it would come out to less money. I always rent my cars through EXPEDIA, and the link that I always use, which is just the Expedia link. Everything that I use, even my travel gear, everything that I recommend is always in my video descriptions. So definitely check those out. But I always book through Expedia and I get so much savings on rental cars. I've gotten rental cars for like $15 a day. I am an Expedia member. All of my travel and everything that you see on my channel has always been booked through Expedia. So yes, I do get a lot of, member pricing, but that's also what I love about that. And I love about Expedia is that they do reward their members, because I have definitely saved a ton over the years from being a member and booking through them. So I definitely implore you to try and go through Expedia or something like that. But I will let you know that a lot of the times with these international insurances, when you purchase them extra on Expedia, when you get to certain places internationally and even on the Greek islands, they do not accept a lot of them, and they still would like a deposit from you when you go and pick up these cars. So that is definitely a very, very big tip, because when I first started doing this years ago, I remember, I had booked the extra insurance through Expedia, outside of just my car rental. I was like, yeah, I want to be insured. I want to make sure everything's okay. And then when I had went to pick up my car, they had told me that, as much as that's great that I have this insurance, that it's still, the claims and everything else, and to get reimbursed is still a process because it is international, and they'd have to put an additional hold on my credit card. So just a heads up. Now what I end up doing is I will still book my car rental through Expedia to get my member pricing, but then I will separately just get the insurance from whatever car rental place I will be using at that time. It just kind of eliminates any type of headaches, or, just making sure that I will be really directly insured from the country that I'm visiting. So definitely a little piece of advice. So now let's get into the giveaways. So for the giveaway, you have to make sure that you are subscribed down below. You turn on the notification bell so you can get notified every time I post up new videos. And then you are going to go to my Instagram page and you are going to follow me there. I will be hosting the cash giveaways on my brand new Instagram page. And in my stories is where I will be giving all of the instructions on how you can participate on each and every one of my cash giveaways. So I really, really hope that this video was helpful and you enjoyed the walkthrough tour of Parikia Paros on the island of Paros in Greece. Until next time.